Zero. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This morning is a beautiful morning here in Yucatan. I hope you're having a good time everywhere and anywhere you are right now. So I love to be back. Last week we didn't have a podcast, but this week we do, and that makes me really happy and very excited. Let me introduce my our guest this morning. Leslie Rabadillo. How you doing, Leslie?
Radillo, Radillo.
Ratillo is my mistake. Yes, it is. Because
He's
I
a
was
little
Don't
slow.
worry,
He's a
don't
little
worry.
slow, Leslie. Sorry
that's
It
about
low.
that.
happens.
My IQ is really low, and this time I wanted to prove that. So
It
anyway,
happens. It
Leslie
happens
Ratillo.
all the time. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here, and thanks for the invitation.
All right, and let me introduce my co-host this morning, Mr. Oscar Cruz.
Morning, guys. Glad to be back. Let's do another great broadcast. Thanks, Cam and Nissan. Good to see you guys again.
All right, and let me introduce my dad. His name is Nissan, Teacher Nissan. What's up? Good morning.
Your dad. I thought I was your grandma.
Mm,
Yeah, you're that
So,
type.
so you call him Daddy, Cam?
No, you're that mum ra type of entity that will keep changing faces.
Do you call him Daddy?
Sure.
He wants to, but I won't let him. So Leslie, nice to meet
yes,
you. Thank you for joining us. Cam, thank you for
thank
having
you.
us. Oscar, nice to see you finally, man. Where you been?
It's been a while, guys.
Busy
Been
bee.
some. No. Some hurdles that life,
Right,
throws at you. But we're back. We're back.
all right.
All right. You've been putting those treatments on, right? You
Yeah,
look
man.
young.
I gotta stay young. You know what I mean? If I want to, get a 20-year-old, I gotta look like a 25-year-old man.
All right. All right. All
I'm just
right.
kidding. My wife's gonna cut him off when she hears this.
All right. All right. All right, guys. So today we have let me see. We have a Estrella Yanez there.
Oh, she's back.
What's up, Estrella? Man,
That's
Hi.
Brenda's sister.
sure. Yes,
Yeah.
Brenda's sister. So right there. Okay, so I hope everybody's having a good time. And today, we're going to talk about something that we haven't talked about. Uh, Teaching for kids. Oh God, I'm gonna tell you my story. I will start by doing that. Once I was working. I think I was. Yeah, I was working with Nisa, and I probably with you too, Oscar. Like 20 years ago, and
Do you
where
have to
I
mention? Do you
we
have to
were
mention the
teaching,
years, man?
and then this school opened a new course for kids. And since I was the youngest and the most handsome back in the day, the director said, "Oh, this group is for you." you know so I said, yeah, let's take it. Yeah, let's so it was four kids, two brothers, an 8-year old and a 6-year old little boys.
Mhm.
It was a 6 or 7-year old girl and a 5 or 6-year old other boy. So it was a group of four. And then these guys, the first day, they were scared, because they were gonna learn English. They got intimidated by me, probably because of my voice. And back in the day, I used to have this, like strong personality, and I wanted them to be, intimidated too. So I stepped in the room. I go like, "Hey, good morning," good afternoon, because he was at 4, and then I started taking, teaching them. We had a system. It was quick learning. They have a very well developed system for each single class. We had a computer. They started having a good time. Blah blah blah. But as days went by, they started being more comfortable, and they started, kind of crossing lines, and I really didn't know how to control them until one day we had this classroom had a big long window, like, so you could see from outside, you know and so I was there. Back in the day, we used to write with chalk. we had whiteboards, but we used to write with chalkboards, So I
Mhm.
was writing on the board, blah blah blah, and then I turn around, I go back to the computer, and then these guys start erasing the chalkboard with their hands. I didn't see that. So all of a sudden, I feel a little small hand on my back, and he pats me on my back. Hey, teacher, blah blah blah, with his hand full of chalk. So I go, yeah, what's up, bro? So I said, and then I start seeing, you know, and then I see that the white, and then I see their hands and everything. So I go like, these little punks, they just got me all. And then I was wearing a vest, a blue vest, a dark blue vest. So I look at it and I say, man, these punks. So I start fighting with them. I start like going,
Yeah.
you piece of crap. And then we start fighting. But then I grabbed the oldest one, that had a brother. So his brother started defending him, like, you. So he grabbed me on my leg. So we started brawling right there. And then director was outside, the other side of the window, like this, like looking at me.
That's a
you know
lawsuit. That's a lawsuit coming.
so exactly. So I said, no, no, it was your fault. Why you give me this group? I think Nissan had him too. I think we were sharing that group. So I said, man, this is the last time I teach kids. I just don't have the skills. I just don't even like kids. Then I had like 7 kids, and I had a few.
Just four.
I just 4. But then I like having kids, but I didn't like. However, that was my last experience teaching really young kids, because now I teach 10-year-olds and online, so there's no way they can grab me on my neck. However, I want to ask Leslie, how has your experience been teaching
Uh,
kids?
it's been a road.
Right.
Yeah, because I started giving classes without any previous acknowledgement. I began with kids because it was the easiest thing to do.
Hmm.
And I started, I think that they were between 3 and 6 years old.
Oh my God.
They were personalized classes, and I was more like a nanny over there, until I wanted to give classes now like more formal into a school, and I entered into a school that was mixed in the area of English, with kids like from first grade to sixth grade. So I had to mix them all together and give the class for everybody because they didn't have the level. So they were like starting. So there weren't like too many kids, but it was a chaos. And it was easy in this part of teaching the same thing, but because of the ages, they were distracted, or they were paying attention, or one was kicking another kid, and then the other was crying, and it was like very difficult.
Which
um,
is normal for that age, right?
which is normal, yes, to hit each other. And
Right.
then the principal on that school told me, like, everything is good, but you don't have any certification, and you don't have anything to give classes. So that's when I started studying, and then I understood a lot of things
Good.
with kids, and then I had like a program to manage kids. um, I began in elementary school, and it was better because I had sixth grade, fifth grade. But then I entered to SEP here in Mexico City, and they gave me kindergarten. The thing was, I
Whoa.
was working because in SEP they tell you need to choose your school, and choose a school that is near your house, so you don't have to take a lot of time going through one place to another. And I don't know if I arrived later or if my skill was bad, but I chose the last school that was over there, and it was very very far. I took 2 hours to get to the school, and the school was in an area that had animals. It was like a farm, like they had animals, and it was the highway over there next to the school. We
Safari.
had exactly.
Where was
We
this? Like
had
Milpa Alta or Tláhuac
no
or?
in it was Ajusco,
Okay.
a little bit more like the Six Flags,
South of the
further than
city.
Six Flags.
So then,
Yeah,
yeah, South Park. Okay.
and it was I don't know. It was quite experience because I had 4 groups of 50 students each group. So imagine, uh,
Kindergarten,
kindergarten, mhm.
under 5 years
And
old.
Three
yeah,
to five.
three to
Holy
five,
Jesus!
and they didn't know anything about English. It was
They
very
didn't even
very
know
difficult.
Spanish.
They didn't
Jesus.
even know Spanish exactly. So I guess that my attitude helped a lot. It was like
Mm.
a new thing for me. It was like a challenge, and I decided to give it up. No, so I don't know if that was bad because I was getting involved into like I saw that they didn't have shoes, and I started buying shoes for them. They didn't have like a pencil, and I started bringing pencils for them. No, so I was very, very involved on that one. The language in that case, it was difficult because I was teaching Spanish and English as well. So it was like the same. They didn't know, for example, how to say that I remember caballo, for example. And it was like, you are 3 years old and you don't know how to say caballo. Well,
Right.
caballo and horse, it's the same, no? And they began with sounds, and they didn't know why they have like a change in the language. It was like very, very confusing for them. And I decided to move from that place because it was getting all my attention, and it wasn't bad, but I was involving also money, and I asked for some help to SEP and to the community over there, and they didn't give it to me. So it was something like also people that don't like people to help them, like it's like, why are you doing this, and we have it and we can do it. And it was like, okay, I think it's better to move on. I stayed there for 2 years. It was for 2 years, um, and then I stopped, and I didn't want to continue giving classes to kindergarten or to children. Also because I was very young. I am always the youngest at schools. I'm always, and teachers
Have
don't
been there.
all.
They have been there for years, and
Yes,
they're
yes, yes.
dinosaurs. Yeah.
You're the youngest in
Yes,
the podcast right now.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You. I
Really?
thought it was me.
No,
Dude, I
I
thought it
don't
was me,
think
man.
so.
Jesus.
You look very young, so
No, you are the
don't
youngest,
worry.
Leslie. You are the youngest. You are the youngest.
Yes, and it was also a problem to work with teachers that didn't like your, I don't know, your attitude. In my
Yeah,
case,
your
it
spunk,
was.
your
Hmm.
freshness, your yeah.
Yes.
They don't like that.
Yeah, and I
It
am also into music and acting. So my classes were very funny and
is.
very dynamic, and they were
Energetic, cool.
exactly. And it was like, why? Why are you doing it
Okay.
like that?
All right. All right. I got it.
Yeah,
Got it. Nisa, do you have
yeah,
a question, a comment for Leslie?
Uh, yeah.
Curious.
What you said about I loved what you said about uh, you know, getting those kids, some of those kids like shoes. That you were
yeah.
wondering whether it was bad. I think it was good. I mean, you saw
It
people
was
in
good.
need. You chose
Yeah.
to help them. I
To
think
act.
you're
Hmm.
part of the good people that
Oh,
this
thank
world
you.
needs more. And about the wow, like about the number of students you had and the lack of support from the institution.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's also a very important talking point. How teachers are treated by the education
We didn't have books or notebooks to work, and books arrived 2 years after I was working there
Get out
until
of here.
the year school finished. So
What
it
year
was
was this
like
in? What year was this?
2011, 2012,
Okay.
2000, from
yeah.
2010 to 2012. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
unbelievable. Because some people say,
Hmm.
with no education, there's no future.
Hmm.
And I say, oh, there is a future. All right.
It's a bad
But,
future.
Yeah.
but yeah, but you,
Hmm.
but you don't want to know. So,
Yeah.
well, my last comment was that it's interesting how you thought it was like teaching children was like the easiest way to start teaching,
Hmm.
because maybe it is because of the topics that you will be required to teach. No, maybe like
Yeah.
some basic vocabulary, colors, the alphabet,
Hmm.
etc. But it's really scary. Like I know you feel confident now because you have been doing it for so long. But
Hmm.
for example, people like us, I think I'm speaking for my partners here too, that we started with adults.
Hmm.
It's pretty scary, and mostly because before the age 8, these are the childhood formative years.
Hmm.
So you have to be very careful about everything you do, about everything you say.
Hmm.
And plus, these are other people's children
Yeah.
that are trusting you with their own
Hmm.
children. So
Right.
yeah, I've never made my endeavor to go for that.
Okay.
And it was also a challenge because I was also in charge of festivals, and Christmas festival was like,
Right.
why is there a fat man over there like with gray or white hair, and why is it in
Hey,
red?
stop talking about my
No,
friend.
I'm talking about Santa.
Sorry.
And they didn't know about reindeers.
Busted.
They didn't know.
Surprise! It's
Okay.
me. You blew my cover.
Oh, well, hello.
He didn't come here to talk like that.
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry. I was talking about Santa.
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Uh, but it was also a challenge to explain, and well, it was good. It was funny because they didn't know also like. For example, spring festival, or why do we have to celebrate spring? And it's common. Maybe also the graduation schools, like the period where they are going to elementary school, and it's like, why do we have to dress like graduates? No, like why?
Okay.
And it was
We
very difficult, but good at the
we
end.
have a comment right here from AJ. What's up, AJ? He says, "I think good teachers have passion, and one way to learn best is when you have emotions in class." Is it true?
Really.
You need to control your emotions too, no?
No, you have to go, and more as a woman.
Whew.
It's like you need to leave everything behind if you are going through
But that,
difficult times, I
but
think.
that's impossible. I mean,
I
come on, guys.
Well, I'm
We have
also
all
an
delivered.
actress.
Well,
I'm also an
yeah, yeah.
actress, so I
You're
have
trained.
to.
You're trained to do that. But this happens a lot in the corporate world. If I
Yes,
can
yes, yes.
pitch in here, for many years, like, oh, you have to leave your
Hmm.
emotions out the door and just
Hmm.
go through it. That's BS, right?
Yeah.
You have mental health now that's so aware. I mean, there's so much awareness now, and I think that any profession you're in, you have to accept that you're an emotional person, and
Yeah.
yes, you have to know how to balance yourself out.
Hmm.
But to add to that guy's comment, any profession you're in, you should have passion, right? Not just good
In
teachers should
any.
have passion,
Mhm.
Right.
right?
I
Anything you
agree.
Right.
do, right? If you're a
Eh,
musician, Nissan, right? He slaps that bass because he loves it.
Hmm.
Cam likes to bust the flow because he loves to rap, right? I
Hmm.
played the guitar a couple of years ago, so I freaking love it, right? You like acting
Hmm.
and dancing. And check this out, guys. All of us here at some level were performers. Ah, look at that,
right. Right.
man.
No, it's very well connected.
Now, I
And
do think
I
performers. Let me wrap this up real quick. I do think teachers that are performers or artists or have an inclination towards the arts are I don't want to say better teachers, but what's the word I'm looking for here?
They have a special trait
Help
teaching.
me out here. What's the word
Teaching,
I'm looking for?
yes, I know. Teaching is right up their alley because actually, a
It's a good.
parenthesis right
It's
there.
a good fit.
Exactly.
Right.
That was actually the when I got to when I got the opportunity to hire teachers, that was usually like the profile I would gravitate towards. Like, oh, he's into music or he's into acting or he's into, painting or whatever, because I knew that they could use that creativity in a
Mhm.
classroom setting. So
Yeah.
yeah, I totally
Exactly.
agree with you.
Picking
Exactly.
up that what you were talking about, like last night I was having a class with with an adult student, and she was having a bad day. Hey, how are you tonight? And she said, I had a bad day, blah blah. I already had my plan for that class, but I switched it, and then I started talking to her. And at the end of those 50 minutes, she said, "Oh, and thank you, because you made me forget about my problems, blah blah, and I had a good time. Oh, thank you." So it's obvious that when you are a teacher, it has to get personal. But my
Mhm.
question for you, Leslie, is when you teach children, when you teach kids, does it get too personal sometimes?
You have to know how to set a limit,
Hmm.
because at some point they also confuse it like mommy, and it's like, no, I'm your teacher.
Excuse me.
Right. That's what
I'm
I'm
your
saying.
teacher. Yes, at what point they are getting involved, like really really near from you.
Yeah.
And I think with children it's and now that we are on online classes, it has
Hmm.
become a little bit more personal, I think.
Oh, really?
um yeah, even if when their moms or their dads are with them on an online class, uh, they it was better for them, or I don't know, it was easier for them because they know how to work with computers better than me, and they are like very excited about the class online. But I think they know that I am their teacher, and that their parents are on a side, but it's our moment, like, okay
Right.
mom, okay dad, just be there, but we are having our class. And it was mostly this year, this school year, they were having a lot of emotions. They didn't get the pandemic situation. They didn't know why they stopped seeing each other, and that's when teachers, or in my case, I had to talk to them and explain the situation. And they became very confident, and every day I had to ask them, like, how are you feeling today? And it helped me to teach emotions vocabulary. So they had some emojis, and they were like,
Mm.
I'm happy, I'm sad. And the not bad thing, but we spent a lot of time on that and our class was like only for 30 minutes.
Hmm.
And they were explaining like why they were feeling sad, like at 4 or 5 years that they are explaining that. It's like very nice. For me it was very
It is.
personal, and they were explaining like why they were feeling sad, why they were feeling angry. Somebody died on their family. They are trying to understand the situation, like a lot of things. And when you're listening to that on a 5 year old, it's like, let me help you, let me hug you.
Leslie,
I want
and
to take care.
talking
Yeah.
about that, what material do you use?
Oh,
Books? Do you,
yeah.
because here in the English clinic we're trying to expand our horizon, and maybe we want to start teaching children too.
Yay.
But I'm having a debate whether to use a book. They've recommended Safari. They've
Mm-hmm.
recommended a few material resources. But I want to ask an expert: what materials do you use, and how do you approach them? Group classes, one on ones. Tell me
Mm-hmm.
about that.
Well, I entered to this school. I am giving right now classes to kindergarten again. And they had a book that worked like a manual, and they had for me it's not good to teach grammar at this age, like It's not good. It's better to have vocabulary. And I work with books. I like to work with books. They are very interesting, depending also on the book. This book that I work with, it was only like photocopies, and they had the topics like colors or numbers or verb to be, and it was like, why is verb to be here? I think one of the teachers that worked there invented the book, and it helped me just to get some activities. Um, I think this year I worked with a lot of handcrafts. They had to do a lot of things like the emojis, or they had to be very busy. They have to create and use their hands. Also because at this
Okay.
age they need to move their fingers, their bones, their muscles, everything. So I think handcrafts help you a lot related with maybe a holiday or maybe something special. A vocabulary in this case, like I told you, emotions. For me, the emojis work because also they are very familiar with cell phones and with the computer and the emojis that everybody show.
Okay.
Um, but books are good. Like I recommend books a lot. They
Okay.
have stories, they have
Images.
audios, they have pictures. Sometimes the publishers give you the puppet of the book, and
Okay.
sometimes you can relate the picture with the doll or the puppet in this case. So you have to be, I guess, very very creative, and I fully recommend books. Yeah,
Okay.
they
And what
help you a lot.
what age do you recommend children or well parents to send their children to study English? What's the good age to
As soon
start?
as they can.
Really?
Yeah, I think at 3 or 4 it's a good age, but if you start talking to them in English since day one, it's good. It's good because at this age they are absorbing everything like little
Okay.
sponges.
Okay.
And I guess at 3, that it's the age where they have to enter to school. If parents want to put them into kindergarten, they accept they accept them at 3, I guess.
Okay,
So it's good.
we have a few comments from people. It says
Yeah.
AJ says nowadays it's difficult for teachers and students to get involved in on live classes. Sure,
Mm-hmm.
sure. We're getting used to it, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was hard at the beginning. We didn't really know how it
Yeah.
really worked. You know, my Estrella says my son loved his English class and his book Cool Kids One. Do you know that one? I don't know that one.
I guess
Okay.
I think so.
His teacher really managed to work with them at distance. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it has to do with a lot with the activities that you create. It's more work, of course. For me, this year was very difficult to create, to invent, to think like, what should I do now? Because it's like everything I had on my mind, it's already done. So you have to be very very creative. I use also PowerPoint presentations, and for them it was very nice. Uh,
Okay.
like your avatar also gives them like, oh, my teacher is on the computer, so she's also
Uh,
in a video, but it's on the computer. So my avatar was also
okay. Nathan, do you have a comment, a
good.
question?
No, I am I'm well. Yes, I am learning. I am learning because I don't have much experience with children. Maybe an anecdote like what you were saying about children sometimes getting personal with you. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, it happened to me once. For example, there was this kid and he was 11 and he was really shy. He had like a really hard time interacting with others,
Hmm.
and he would actually it was actually difficult for him to look at people in the eye. So maybe there was something about him being on the spectrum or something. And then I found out about, and they just put me
Threw
in
it at
charge
you.
of. Yeah, they put me in charge of him. Like, okay, so
Mm-hmm.
teach him. And I was like, oh, but I don't have the experience, and I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I'm well prepared for this. Like, and they were like, well, you have to.
He had
And then,
autism.
well, he might have,
Might
but
have
Had
not,
issues.
but yeah,
They
functional.
didn't know.
yeah,
Okay.
no, yeah, quite functional, yeah. So, but perhaps he wasn't, because then I found out that his family context was like, both his parents worked all day,
Mm-hmm.
and he would spend all day long with this bodyguard and maybe the cook, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was all by
But he
himself
was very, very well high off. I mean, they were high
most of
level.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
Anyway, I did my best, man. I wasn't trying to pull a Jodie Foster on that movie
Or a
where
Patch Adams.
little man tell. I wasn't really trying to go for that. But I just did my best and try to
Mm-hmm.
care for the kid. And after a couple of months, yeah, he made great progress. But when he knew it was his last day, he held my hand. Something that was crazy, because
Mm-hmm.
he wouldn't even look at you, like he would just listen and answer and reply. And that day I remember he held my hand and he said, "Thanks, Dad." And I freaked out.
How old was he?
Like 11.
And how long did you teach him for?
2 months probably. I
Okay.
mean, he was.
Good
I
bond.
mean,
Good
I mean,
bond.
he had English because of video games and everything. So he was actually like between
Practicing or
eight.
something.
Yeah, he was like
Mm-hmm.
a solid A2.
To be all right. Cool.
And I think I helped him approach at least B1 material. No,
What do you do
Good.
Mm-hmm.
afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
man? That's freaking.
well, I shed a little tear right right there. Like, I got a little emotional, but I try to keep it together. And I said, like, no, you, I'll be seeing you around. Like, I don't like goodbyes, so I was like, no, yeah,
Oh, but
man,
that was a goodbye.
it was a goodbye. Yeah, yeah. I never saw him after that. I think I
Oh
didn't
my
know it was.
god,
I didn't know it was his last day. But I think he knew.
you're breaking my
So
heart.
yeah, yeah. But I think what my point was gonna be was that it is tricky. It is a hairy ground, and this is my personal opinion. But I want to know
Yeah.
what Leslie thinks about this.
Mm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think if for teachers out there that don't have any experience with children, I know it's hard to make a living, you know, and sometimes we need to chase that money, and sometimes we need to,
Yeah.
just take as much as we want. But I would say that if there are teachers that have no experience with children, that they know that they don't really have a certain aptitude for it, and they find themselves
Having to teach.
having to teach children, yeah, or at least they're offered the job. I would say that they should really consider either get some training,
Mm-hmm.
or just not do it because
Discarded.
yeah, because I don't know
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah. It has to do a lot with a lot of things. It's good that you notice in this case that what something was happening with that boy, and sometimes parents don't want to accept that their children had something, and that they are going through a process, or that they have a syndrome, or that they are sick of something. They just live in like saying no, 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 he's okay, and he's okay.
Yeah, classic.
And now that we are on online classes or e-life classes, parents are also beside them. And I was like, through the screen, I was saying like, I think he's with autism, or he has something, because he doesn't react and he's not paying attention. And the mom was like, what do we have to do? What's the material? And it was like, I have said it already, no?
Right,
And
right.
they don't accept it. Sometimes they have hired me for personal classes, and I have to check also the behavior of the students. So it's also, I don't know if good or bad, that I have to tell the parents that they have, that their children have something, that I noticed something
Right.
weird or that it's not good, and either it's offensive or they do something. So it's
Mm,
like, okay, I the teacher told us this, so we're going to the doctor. Or it's like, no, you are only going to give him classes and that's it. Don't worry about the other things.
ooh,
So because of money, because of my needs, I have to stay there. Yes, you create a bond with students. You get to know each other better than their parents, and that's very sad.
right.
Eh,
It is that. Yeah.
it is
They're
sad. It is sad, and also because they have a better relationship with you as a teacher
You're with them
than
all day.
parents. Exactly.
Oh
right.
yeah. Oh, you want to talk about something sad? I have a student. She's a preteen. Maybe maybe she's already a teenager. She's what, 13? Preteen, teenager.
Teenager.
Officially,
You know,
officially, officially teenager.
right?
Yeah.
Not really a kid, but I see her. You know, because she's So I but she started last year. So one day her mom told me, "Hey, we can't pay this anymore." And I say, "Man, she's in that age and she's learning, and so how can you not make this effort to. So I said, "All
Hmm.
right, I
Free
don't do this."
scholarship.
Exactly. I
Hmm.
don't do this, so I'm gonna charge half of what I charge. And I gave
Hmm.
her a 50% scholarship, right?
Hmm.
So she was, she's still taking classes with me. But it's still sad because I don't think money is the problem. I think money is the consequence of a problem. And now she's taking classes from her cell phone, on her cell phone.
Hmm.
And then her cell phone broke. Now she's taking classes on her mom's cell phone, you know, but she's taking classes, and then I think she has a room, but everybody's coming in like, hey, blah blah blah. People are not for real.
Hmm.
People are
Yeah.
burping, people are yelling, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy, man. It's the like learning time. This should be sacred moment for a person and for a kid
Hmm.
even more. So I'm already trying to find a way to get her a computer to
Hmm.
to so she can, because I know that this is the age. If she doesn't learn now, probably later on, nah, she's not gonna. I mean, I don't want to speak bad about her parents, but with the type of parents she's got, I don't think they're
Hmm.
gonna try to make the effort now, because when she grows, these 1,000, 2,000, whatever, this money, they're
Hmm.
gonna use it for transportation. Oh, it's your life. Leave. Go to. So right now, I think it's the time. So it's kind of sad because you're not dealing with a problem, with a direct problem. You're dealing with an indirect problem. You're dealing with a family thing. Probably when you deal with adults, oh, it's your choice, it's your money, it's your
Different.
problem, it's your mind, it's you and me. One on one. But when you're teaching kids, probably what you were saying, that you're teaching the kid, but really you're dealing with a whole family
Yeah.
structure. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to
That's why a
put
lot
that
of
out of my
teachers.
heart.
That's why a lot of teachers want to go back to the classroom setting, right? So they can overcome all these challenges they have been facing online. Man, that's
That's a
why they
question
want
for you guys.
Not me.
What?
to.
No, not me either. But that's a question for all of you guys. What do you think about coming back after COVID? Well,
Oh
which is we're
shit.
not. It's not even after COVID, but schools in Mexico, they want to come back. What do you guys think? What do you think, Leslie, about coming back to school?
Well, at first, I didn't want to go back to kindergarten classes. Like, I didn't want to return and work in a school because some years ago I found out classes for adults, and it was better for me at the
Right.
moment, and also because it was one on one. I was used to give classes to a lot of students, and then when I find out that there was only one on one classes, um, for me it was like, okay, this is
A lot
better
better.
than exactly.
Sure.
And then they offered me to return to a kindergarten, and it was like, we are on a pandemic situation. Oh no, it's online. And I was like, okay, online with children, more than one. Oh, this is gonna be difficult. Um, at first well, they were feeling awkward. I think that it was a new person for them. But I was giving classes the whole year, and as we were creating this bond, I think they got familiar with me. And on our last day of school,
Oh,
the teachers, the Spanish teachers, and I organized to meet them and to give them like their certification and some presents and all of this. And
I'm
we
sorry.
were
Was this a public or private school? I'm sorry.
a private school. Yeah,
Okay.
I went to a private. And we were wearing the mask, and they were only, we did like a nice thing for them, that they were going to ride on their cars and just give like just to be around the school, and we were going to give only the presents, and they didn't have to get off the car and all of this. And they were like, who are you? Because we were wearing the mask, and I
Ah,
changed my hair also, and it was like, I don't know, and I was like, good morning, and it was, it's teacher Leslie, it's Miss Leslie. And they were like, okay, so she's a real person, no? um I
She's not
guess that,
virtual.
yes, exactly, it was very different for them. And they were saying to their parents like, can I go down and have a hug, like give her a hug? And we were like, okay, let's hug each
my
other.
God.
So I guess that I don't think that we're ready to return, but it's something mandatory because of the
Right.
president. um, I think the program or the system, I don't know how to name this. They want us to give online classes at the same time that we have some students in the classroom. So I don't know if it's not gonna be difficult for me because I can manage everything. But I think
Oh, that's the
I
spirit.
think
That's what Nissan said.
no, I think it's gonna be difficult because we are going to have online classes and also presential classes at the same time. So I don't think we are ready, but if we need to do it, just
Gotta
do
do it.
it.
Let's
I
do
have
it.
to
Okay.
try.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
Oscar?
Mhm. It's going
Gosh,
to.
man. It's. I mean, personally, I'm not gonna be going back to the classroom, right? I'm
Right.
nowhere near for that happening.
But
But
your kid or something. I
in
don't know.
Mhm.
Querétaro, it's. Let me try to say it as politically correct as possible, right? It's a
Yeah.
very conservative state where I'm at, so they
Hmm.
practically do everything different from the federal government. So I'm
Hmm.
assuming they're not gonna let children go back to school here in Querétaro. And states have that
Hmm.
ability to decide. So in my
Right.
state, I don't think they're going back, and I'm cool
Okay.
with that.
Hmm.
I'm cool with that.
All right. And you, Nissan?
Yeah, what he said, I think it was a bad choice. I think the government gave in to the pressure of all these people, like, no, but these
Hmm.
online classes are not working, and children need to be in the
Uh-huh.
classroom, and you need to open businesses because of the economy. And they
Yes.
say, well, okay, okay. I guess they should have said the opposite. Oh, let's just
Yeah.
open schools and open business. So these people would be like, no, 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 let's just stay home. Okay, but that didn't happen, right? So personally, I'm not sending my kids. That was a bad choice. I'm not sending my kids to school at
Yeah.
least
Also, it
for
has
the
to do
rest of the
with
year,
parents. Hmm.
right? And teachers. Well, I might go back to the classroom at least on Saturdays. I don't know, maybe by the end of this year. But I think things are definitely going to change. I think online teaching is here to stay.
Mhm.
True.
I've also been informed, by this institution I work for, that now I will that these classes that I used to teach in the classroom now are gonna be with also online students right there. Like they're gonna be like a screen, and I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
also gonna be
Uh-huh.
teaching people
Yeah.
that are gonna be from their houses. But yeah, I mean, of course, I'll always enjoy the classroom, and also finally these things this thing you were saying about like the child in class and the parent like right here,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
in my case is the opposite because I deal with adults, so usually I have the adult
Yeah.
right here, and
And the
Mhm.
then
kids.
the
Yeah.
kids are like you know, and they're like, ¿qué haces? ¿Quién
Yes.
es ese? And it's so annoying when they
Yeah.
they they don't go like, yo, you know,
Mhm.
show some respect, kid. I'm busy. Like, go play or something. No, they go like this, and I'm like,
Mhm. Or
yeah.
like, say hello. This is my teacher. Say hello to them. Yeah. And it's
And they
like,
spend,
okay.
and then it turns into a 15-minute
Yeah.
chat about,
Yeah. Mhm.
and I'm like, well, you're paying.
I've been checking these groups out, and
Yeah.
some people are asking for one-on-one classes. They're looking for teachers like
Yeah.
physical classes, and I
Mhm.
say, man, really? Like, take advantage of this new technology then that we can take classes online. Why do you have to go back? However, for children, I think it is important to socialize to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like at least a few days. They could go a few days.
Couple of
They could go
days.
a couple of days. They could go, like, try to keep it as small groups as possible. And
Mhm.
well, if I would ask the government something, it would be to just pay the Zoom.
Right? Yes.
Why
Yes.
the government just doesn't pay the Zoom, the pro access to everybody? They
Right.
just got 40 minutes and classes need to finish. Like, what kind of cheap decision is that? Like,
Mhm.
they should just go. And because if you go to a private school, I mean, they're probably getting bored, and probably teachers are not very dynamic and everything, but at least the student is there for, I don't know, 6 7 hours. But if you send your children to public school, they're there for 40 minutes because the Zoom class shuts down after 40 minutes.
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
kind of crazy for me.
Well,
So that
it's not just the technology, but it's the actual union, the teacher syndicate, right? That's a
Yeah.
whole different monster. They set the rules, and they don't want to expose
Right.
the I mean, I think that's the monster. That's the
For
white
Right.
ex-
elephant in the room,
for
bro.
example, in SEP, I know that they are going to ask teachers and
It's
parents
optional. It's optional for the
to
step.
clean the schools.
That's one.
Right.
And in my school, my private school, where I am working,
I don't clean.
my principal said, like, I'm not going to make you teachers clean the school, but I'm going to ask the parents. And then she said, like, of course not, they are not going to clean the school,
Yeah.
Exactly.
of
As a
course they
parent,
are not going to
as a
do it.
parent, let me tell you that
Not
when my
going to
wife told
happen.
me about that, like, oh, they're
Hmm.
gonna make us clean. Man, I laughed so hard. I was like, yeah, yeah. I want
I
to see
don't
them
clean my
make.
Yeah,
house.
right.
I don't clean my
Exactly.
I don't even shower.
Exactly.
Let them come and make me go clean the school. No, man.
I'm
Exactly.
sending my kid. I'm not even sending my kid. I already enrolled her to Montessori homeschool. I'm gonna try.
Mm,
I don't know if it's gonna work, but
yeah.
since I think it's gonna be. We need to take
Hmm.
advantage now of the new times. All right, we have
Uh,
one last comment,
Not gonna
and
be
we're
cheap though.
okay. Right? No, it's not. It's
That's a
not
good
cheap at
comment.
all.
That's a
No,
good
we need.
comment.
No, no.
Parents are more difficult than children. That's what I
One hundred
say.
I
percent.
agree. Yeah.
Sure. It's not enough time, and it's divided in many students. Yeah, group classes, I don't
Yeah.
really like them. I like, for
Hmm.
example, now in the English clinic, we have workshops, and these workshops do help people. Like, and there are 6 to 8 people, and, it really helps them, socialize. We play. Tonight, we have a conversation club, blah, blah, blah. It helps, yeah, for conversation. But for actual learning and teaching, I think one on one, couldn't
It's
be
mhm,
couldn't be any better. You
it's
know,
better.
so all right, so that's it. We're coming to an end. Oh, that's so sad. Well, yeah, we just got we just got an hour podcast. You know, so thank you very much to everybody that was there. You know, checking us out. You know, we like to be here. We enjoy, you know, having conversations with teachers, with experts in the topic, with advanced students also, because at the end of the day we're still students, so that's what it is, you know. So Leslie, give us your last comment, please.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. I spent a very nice time.
Thank you.
You made me remember my early years, so
Oh.
it's very nice to see like all the experience I've been through. I guess just as a recommendation for everybody,
Don't
I
invite
think
me again,
that
she said.
no, invite me more, please. It was very nice. Now, for parents, for the people who is watching, don't stop the learning process of your children, of your
Right.
friends. Be supportive in every way that you can, because if you learn something, it's going to help you. But if it's English, it's going to be better for you, I think.
Sure, I like it, like it.
So,
Oscar, last
Nice,
comment.
nice. Last comment. Just stay safe, guys, because you know it's the
yeah,
third wave. It's the third wave, and I want to see you guys here again. So just stay safe, and
yeah.
look forward to doing this again.
Okay, thank you, teacher Neeson.
Yeah, for people that still don't trust online teaching, and mostly for children, I'd say that perhaps many people have had a bad experience with online courses. Maybe the quality of the equipment that the teachers were using, or the institution, or maybe the input, or the material, or the handling of the teacher wasn't the best. But at least from my experience, my younger kid has been taking a couple of online courses, and some of these teachers are awesome, man, and they sing. My kid sings and dances and draws and and does all kinds of things, and sometimes even I want to join the class, like these
Yeah,
people,
Good
because these
teacher.
people know what they're doing. Yeah,
yeah.
and they know how to use these technology.
Mm.
And after a year of pandemic, perhaps they were already experienced, I don't know. But if they weren't,
They're
they
pulling
really
it off.
seized, yeah, these year of pandemic to build something. So I
Hmm.
think you guys should try to find options, because there are options out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're building a
a
new
lot.
generation of teachers
Yes.
with new technologies, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. All right, guys. So thank you very much. I really appreciate your participation this morning. And I will see you next time. See you next Friday and see you tonight on the Conversation Club. See ya.